You're no longer needed. Get out of the house. Those words still echo in my head. They were the last words Nate said to me before he threw divorce papers at my hospital bedside while I was still weak and recovering from emergency hospitalization due to threatened premature labor. I had been married to Nate for 3 years. In that time, I had learned what it meant to carry the weight of an entire household alone, while being treated like I was less than human. When I first met Nate, I thought I had finally found someone gentle, someone who understood quiet people like me. We met at a party I hadn't even wanted to attend. I was there only because a friend insisted, and I spent most of the night at the buffet table, avoiding conversation. That's when I saw Nate, doing the exact same thing, awkwardly spooning hors d'oeuvres onto his plate, looking like he wanted to disappear. He caught my eye and gave a shy, uncertain smile. Are you here because your friend dragged you too? I laughed softly. Exactly. You too? Yeah, I'm not really good at these things. Maybe we can be each other's safe zone? It was a small thing, but that moment felt genuine. I thought I had met someone who understood me. We spent the rest of the evening talking in a quiet corner, and by the end of the night, we both wrote each other's names on our cards for the match pairing. That was how it started. Our relationship moved quickly. He was polite, soft-spoken, and seemed to value stability as much as I did. Within a year, we got married and moved into a modest apartment in New York. For a while, life was peaceful, dinners together, shared jokes, quiet mornings, but everything changed when Nate's father passed away. We moved into his family's house, a large, old home where his mother, Eleanor, and younger sister, Wendy, lived. At first, I thought it would be a good opportunity to support them through their grief. His mother welcomed me warmly, and Wendy seemed cheerful, always smiling and calling me, sis. But soon, I started noticing things. Nate, who was 11 years older than Wendy, doted on her excessively, buying her expensive bags, shoes, even jewelry, and always putting her needs before mine. I tried to understand. Maybe it was guilt from losing their father. I told myself, maybe it would pass. Then, one day, my pregnancy test came back positive. I was overjoyed. I rushed to tell Nate, and his family gathered around, hugging me, congratulating me, even crying. My mother-in-law took my hands and said, "Oh, Sharon, this baby will be the light of this family." That night, Wendy insisted on cooking dinner all by herself, no lifting a finger. "Okay, I'll take care of everything," she said, smiling brightly. I felt so loved, so accepted. I thought I finally belonged. But that illusion shattered 6 months later, on the day of my ultrasound. When the doctor told me I was having a girl, I was over the moon. I held that ultrasound photo against my chest the entire way home, already imagining the tiny dresses and lullabies I'd sing to her. That evening, when everyone gathered for dinner, I made the announcement with trembling excitement. "We found out the gender today," I said. "We're having a girl." The room went completely silent. At first, I thought they were too emotional to speak, but when I looked at their faces, I realized it wasn't joy I was seeing. It was disappointment, cold, visible disappointment. Nate frowned. "This is terrible," he muttered. "What do you mean, terrible?" I asked, forcing a smile. "Well, obviously, it should have been a boy first." "That's right," my mother-in-law added, folding her arms. "How troublesome. A girl won't carry on the family name." I was speechless. "Does it really matter?" "Of course it does," she snapped. "Wendy helped you with chores because we expected a boy. What a waste of effort. I feel deceived." And just like that, everything changed. From that night onward, they stopped treating me like family. They no longer allowed me to rest. Even though my belly was growing heavier by the day, they claimed that since I was on maternity leave, I had plenty of time to do all the housework, cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping, cooking. Wendy would lounge on the couch scrolling through her phone while I scrubbed the floors. When I tried to protest, my mother-in-law glared at me. "You're living here for free. Be grateful we took you in." I tried to endure. I told myself it was only temporary, that once the baby arrived, everything would get better, but the stress kept building. Then one afternoon, while preparing for Wendy's birthday party, I felt a sharp, unbearable pain in my abdomen. My vision blurred. I couldn't even stand. I called my doctor, Who told me to come immediately? It could be premature labor. I somehow managed to call a taxi and get to the hospital. After tests, the doctor said the baby was safe, but I needed emergency hospitalization and strict bed rest. I called Nate to tell him what happened. What? You're in the hospital? He said impatiently. Yes, I was having severe abdominal pain. The doctor says I need to stay for a while. So you didn't finish the preparations for Wendy's birthday party? What? Nate, did you hear me? I was in pain. Unbelievable, he hissed. You should have finished before going to the hospital. That was it. Not one visit, not one call, not even a text. 2 weeks later, when my discharge date finally arrived, I saw Nate walk into my hospital room with his mother, and with them was a woman I'd never seen before. Her belly was swollen. She was clearly pregnant. You look fine, Nate said coldly. Wasn't the hospitalization a bit dramatic? I stared at the woman. Who is this? My new wife, Nate said with a smirk. Then he threw divorce papers onto my hospital bed. Fill these out. I don't need you anymore. Don't come back after your discharge. Get out of the house. His mother laughed. The pregnant woman smiled smugly. I was frozen until the door opened behind them. My father entered, holding my discharge papers. It's been a while, he said quietly, setting down the documents. Oh, Mr. Reynolds, my mother-in-law sneered. Perfect timing. Take your daughter back. She doesn't belong in our family anymore. My father smiled calmly. Is that so? He said softly. Then perhaps you should know something. His tone was polite, but icy. No, he said. The one leaving that house won't be Sharon. It'll be all of you. Their smirks faded instantly. Nate frowned. What are you talking about? My father adjusted his glasses. Your late father owed me a substantial debt before he died. He used your family home as collateral, and since the debt was never repaid, that property now belongs to me. Silence. My mother-in-law's face drained of color. What? Nate gasped. Oh, yes, my father continued. I allowed you all to stay there because Sharon was living in that house, but now that you've disowned her, I'll be collecting what's mine. Nate's hand trembled as he grabbed the divorce papers back. Wait. Let's talk about this. But my father raised his hand, cutting him off. There's nothing left to discuss. You'll be hearing from my lawyer soon. He turned to me, his voice gentle again. Come, Sharon, let's go home. As I followed him out, I heard my mother-in-law shouting behind us, but I didn't look back. For the first time in months, I felt safe. The day I stopped being invisible, my child's fatherless. That single thought haunted me more than anything else. I worried constantly that my circumstances would give my baby a painful start in life. I used to lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'd ever be enough, if my child would resent being born into a family already fractured. But in that house, hope was a luxury I couldn't afford. Day after day, I learned to suppress my emotions. I stopped expecting kindness. I simply survived, breathing through each passing day like a ghost drifting between walls that whispered disdain. The birthday party. It was the night before my sister-in-law Wendy's birthday when she suddenly announced at dinner. I want to invite my friends over for my birthday party tomorrow. She said it casually, swirling her spoon through her soup as if the idea had been planned for weeks. Of course, Nate, my husband, and his mother immediately agreed. Then Wendy's eyes landed on me. Sharon, you'll handle the preparations, right? Me? I asked, startled, setting down my fork. Before I could explain that I wasn't feeling well, my mother-in-law snapped. Don't you even want to celebrate your husband's sister? She's family. No, that's not what Wendy is busy with college. You're not working, are you? You have free time. Nate nodded without even looking at me. That's right, just do it. They didn't seem to notice, or care, that my belly had already grown heavy, that the baby inside me moved strongly now. I was nearly 8 months pregnant, and yet, in their eyes, I was still just the housemaid in their family. Pain. The next morning, they all left together to buy birthday presents for Wendy. No one stayed behind. It was supposed to be Wendy's party, but everything, the food, decorations, cake, was left to me. She hadn't prepared a single thing. So I forced myself to go out shopping, despite my swollen feet and aching back. But just as I was leaving the house, a sharp pain tore through my stomach. It was sudden and unbearable, like my body was being ripped apart from the inside. I collapsed onto the hallway floor, clutching my belly as sweat dripped down my face. Panicked, I called my OB-GYN. The doctor's voice was urgent. Come in immediately. It could be threatened premature labor. I barely managed to call a taxi. The pain wouldn't stop. Every bump in the road made me gasp. What if something was wrong with my baby? When I reached the clinic, the doctor examined me quickly. The baby is fine, she said, but you need immediate hospitalization. I nodded weakly and reached for my phone. Nate's number was first on my call list. After several rings, he answered with irritation in his voice. What is it? Did you finish the party preparations? I swallowed hard. No, I had severe abdominal pain. The doctor says I need to be hospitalized. What? So you didn't finish the preparations? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Nate, I'm in the hospital. The baby. Don't mess around. You should have finished before going. We're already heading home with Wendy's friends. Don't embarrass us. He hung up before I could say another word. I stared at the phone in disbelief, tears falling silently. The baby inside me kicked, a reminder that even in this world where no one cared, there was one tiny life that depended on me. I whispered, I'm done. Not with the pregnancy, but with him, with all of them. My father's arrival. That night, I called my father in tears. He came immediately. For 2 long weeks, I stayed in the hospital. No one from Nate's family visited. Only my parents came every day. My mother brought soup. My father read aloud from the newspaper like he used to when I was little. When I was finally ready to be discharged, Nate and his mother suddenly appeared, with a strange woman whose belly was round with pregnancy. The woman smirked. You look fine. Guess the whole hospitalization thing was just for attention, huh? My heart pounded. Who is this? Nate crossed his arms. My new wife. Before I could react, he threw divorce papers onto my bed. Sign them. You're not coming back to the house. His mother chuckled behind him, whispering something to the pregnant woman, who laughed. My fists trembled. My world tilted. Just then, my father walked into the room. His calm presence filled the air. It's been a while, Eleanor. Nate. They greeted him with fake politeness. My mother-in-law smirked. I assume you overheard. Please take your daughter back. She doesn't belong with us anymore. But my father smiled, that same soft, dangerous smile I knew so well. No, Eleanor, you misunderstand. The one who will be leaving that house is you. What nonsense, Nate scoffed. My father interrupted smoothly. Your late husband borrowed a large sum from me, using the house as collateral. What? Eleanor froze. Nate turned to her, panic flooding his face. Is that true, Mom? She stammered. Yes, but it was paid. My father raised a document. No, the payments stopped years ago. The house legally belongs to me now. Eleanor's face drained of color. I didn't collect because Sharon lived there, my father said coldly. But now that you're divorcing her, consider yourselves evicted. Nate's jaw dropped. He quickly snatched back the divorce papers, stammering. Wait, Sharon, let's talk about this. My father handed him several photographs, Nate and his mistress, clearly together. Don't bother. We'll be requesting compensation for adultery. Goodbye, Nate. My father helped me pack my things, and we left without another word. 2 years later, my baby was born healthy, a boy. My parents helped me raise him. Life was peaceful again, filled with laughter, baby giggles, and the quiet love I had long forgotten. But one afternoon, Nate showed up at my door with his mother. They were shouting so loudly that the neighbors peeked through their windows. What do you want? I asked sharply. That woman's baby wasn't mine, Nate blurted out. Apparently, his mistress had given birth, but a DNA test proved the child wasn't his. Now that they had been deceived, they wanted my son, their real heir. That child is mine too. Hand him over, Nate shouted. Before I could reply, a calm voice came from behind me. Sharon, is everything all right? It was my fiancé, the man who had stood by me for the last year. Nate's face twisted in rage. You were having an affair? My fiancé laughed. I met her after the divorce. You, on the other hand, were cheating while she was pregnant. Should I call the police? Nate paled and stormed off with his mother. 4 years later. Mommy, hurry, my son shouted, running ahead with his oversized backpack. Be careful, I called after him, laughing. My husband took my hand gently. Today was our son's first day of school. Watching him wave goodbye to us as he joined the other children, I felt tears fill my eyes. Just then, someone tapped my shoulder, Nate's former colleague. He told me Nate had lost everything, his job, his house, even his freedom. He was last seen being dragged away by debt collectors. As I listened, I felt only peace. Because the woman who once cried herself to sleep in that cold house was gone. I walked home to the sound of laughter, my son's, my husband's, and my parents' echoing through the air. For the first time in years, I was truly free. And this time, I wasn't invisible anymore.